What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Trillium Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Boston, Massachusetts, and this is their double dry hopped Stillings Street. So this is an IPA that comes at 7.2% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, this can is approximately 3.5 weeks old. I'm gonna give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Curtis, for this beer. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way, and he sent me 6 beers in total, 4 of which were hop forward beers, and this is one of the 4. And I'm really happy he sent this one my way because we do get occasional drops of Trillium stuff here in the Buffalo, New York area, but I don't remember seeing this one, and I certainly have never had it before. And they are brewing this one with CTZ and Nelson Sauvin hops, and then they're double dry hopping it with Nelson. So I love Nelson hops, and I'm curious to see how this one is. I'm sure it's going to be quite tasty, but we'll figure that one out together. So let me crack this one open, get it into the hashtag proper glassware, because we do have a Trillium glass, and see how this one is. Pour it out like juice, you know, typical. They just always, I just love nowadays, you know, and whatever, it doesn't bother me, it's not a big deal, but a lot of breweries just put IPA nowadays, or India Pale Ale. I mean, Hop Butcher does it, they do it, other half does it, but they're all hazy nowadays. I guess that's just what people think hazy IPAs are. But anyway, we have this Trillium glass, and this looks beautiful in the hashtag proper glassware. I mean, that looks fantastic, no questions asked. You know, it looks like a hazy IPA. I mean, that's what it looks like. It has a darker honey orange color, very murky and turbid, can't see through it at all. That's pretty much opaque. Hold up to light, a little bit of light getting in through the bottom. About 1.5 fingers of this super creamy off-white colored head. I'd say that's almost like a bone white, or like an eggshell white. Already good glass lacing as the head is clinging to the sides of the glass. It just looks fantastic in this glass. Now on camera it might be a little bit more darker and dull than I'm seeing here in person. You might say, oh, maybe that looks a little bit oxidized, so forth. No, this just looks kind of like an old school to me. Other half, you know, double dry hopped, double IPA or even IPA. In person though, it definitely doesn't have like that grayish kind of oxidized tone that you see. It definitely just looks darker, like a darker honey orange. Anyway, let's get a nose. That smells awesome. Wow. I'm getting gobs of freshly squeezed orange juice and passion fruit juice, or passion fruits as a whole. Like, wasn't expecting that. I'm looking for like white grapes and white wines. It is Nelson and Nelson dry hopped, or double dry hopped. Yeah, it's orange, it's passion fruit. There might be even a little bit of like a zesty lemon in here. This is the tropical fruit, a kind of quality that I get occasionally, I'd say more rarely, where it's like passion fruit, a little bit of guava, kiwi, some of those rare tropical fruits that you don't hear me talk about when I review a hazy beer. It definitely, yeah, it just, wow, the passion fruit nose in this is insane. There is a little bit of like a, kind of like a more of a white wine character than like a white grape. But yeah, it's a lot of citrus, orange, juicy orange juice, 100% like freshly squeezed orange juice, like a lemon zest, a lemon rind, passion fruit, guava, kiwi, maybe a touch of pineapple. And there's this touch of like confectionery, like white bread underneath everything. For 7.2%, this smells like it's 9 to 10. This smells like a triple IPA. Not from like I'm picking up any alcohol, just from the intensity of the aromatics are just like, yeah, this is a big beer, and it's really not. Oh yeah, this is also a part of their street series. I think I've reviewed 1 or 2 in their street series. Yeah, I want to get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Curtis. Quite nice. But there's always a but. When it comes to, and I don't know. Hey, listen, I've reviewed so many different beers at this point. I'm over 2,000. A lot of you have watched the reviews over the years. Some of you might be new to the channel. This is pretty much why I talk about this almost every review. When something's double dry hopped, triple dry hopped. For me, double dry hopping and triple dry hopping sometimes, more often than not for me personally, set up a beer for disappointment for me personally, because the nose is spectacular typically. Like the aromatics jump out of the glass. They're very vibrant and boisterous and intense, just like this one was. And then you taste it and it's dialed back. It's dialed back quite a bit, and that's exactly what's happening in this beer. Still a really tasty beer, but the nose set this one up for disappointment because of the double dry hopping, I'd assume. Because the nose on this is spectacular and the taste is just pretty damn good. Body's like medium, touch over medium body, 7.2%. It's fine. It's not thin. It's not thick. I think it's kind of appropriate where it needs to be. The mouthfeel has a nice, soft, smooth creaminess, not upper echelon for mouthfeels, but right in the realm of a hazy 7.2% IPA. I think it's nice. It just has like a mild to moderate carbonation. The taste, definitely still getting that freshly squeezed orange juice at the forefront. But again, a little bit of that confectionery white bread hits tip of the tongue, kind of with me through like maybe the first third of the palate, and then dives underneath the palate and kind of fades away. But yeah, freshly squeezed orange juice, a little bit of that lemon zest, midway through the palate. This is where I would love that, dare I say, bombastic, shout out to Paul over at PA Brew News. I want that bombastic passion fruit, guava, kiwi character I was getting in the nose. All I'm getting is like a ripened passion fruit, and it's not as juicy or boisterous as it was in the nose. Maybe a hint of like a guava, no kiwi. This is more to like an underripened, to me, like pineapple. Little bit of like a cantaloupe or a honeydew melon, but closer to the rind, or like, the actual, not the flesh of the fruit, but closer to like the white part and the rind and whatnot, the pith. Whatever it's actually called as a melon, I don't really know, but to the, like if you're eating a watermelon, the fleshy red part is the good part, and then you get to the white part and you're like, ooh, it's gonna be a little bit bitter and not sweet. That's kind of what I'm getting with this. I'm getting the honeydew and cantaloupe flavor without the sweetness. It finishes with a slightly dank, like spicy herbaceousness. It's actually very dry. This is not a sweet double IPA, which I'm pretty happy about, but it's also, it hurts it a little bit, because if it was sweeter, I think that passion fruit and guava and the kiwi would probably pop, and it doesn't as much as the nose. But yeah, it finishes with this like drying, spicy herbaceousness with a touch of dankness. This is, I'd say, full on dry, but not like bone dry, but it has a nice firm dryness, mildly bitter, kind of what the, style dictates, is a mild bitterness. 7.2%, I really can't tell at all. The nose screamed 9 to 10%, and the taste is like 6.5, 7. I think it's fine. Do a little shake, pour in the proteins, the yeast and all that stuff, see if it changes up at all. Here's the way I look at it. The nose was fucking dynamite. Like the nose was like a 4.75, 4.8. The taste, kind of like a 4 out of 5, maybe slightly higher, like a 4.05, 4.1. So I'm going to have to come to terms with what I want to grade this, because this is a nice double dry hopped hazy IPA or New England IPA. It really is. But because of the nose, this just kind of disappointed me from the start of it, I guess. I'm not disappointed as a whole, don't get me wrong, but I'm disappointed at where this beer began with the aromatics and the aroma, and where it's ending in the taste. It kind of fell off quite a bit, but I still think this is a really nice hazy IPA, New England IPA. I wouldn't turn my nose up at it. I think it's really nicely done. There's some nice flavors in here for sure. Has a good body and mouthfeel. You can't really tell it's 7.2%. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this, I'm not gonna split the difference. If there's let's say a 4.8 for the nose and a 4 for the, it's not a 4.4. It's not in the 4.5 range. It's on the lower side of a 4.25 range. So double dry hopped Stillings Street from Trillium. I'm going to give this a low 4.25. I'll go 4.2. We'll go 4.2. That's the best I can give it. I was thinking that, or maybe 4.15, but somewhere in that realm. So still a really nice beer, really nice double dry hop New England IPA. However, for me, without that nose, this is definitely at best like a 4 out of 5. But the nose I gotta take into consideration, because it's part of everything and how you rate and grade everything. Like I said, body, mouthfeel are good, highs the alcohol, so I can't be too disappointed. So yeah, 4.2 out of 5. Price point availability. Pretty sure Curtis paid $6.50 a can, because it said $6.50 on the can when he sent it my way. And here in Buffalo, that's probably the going rate for something like this. their beers show up anywhere from like $6 to $9. Like the higher end would be something like a triple IPA that's double or triple dry hopped. What was the collaboration I did with like Other Half in the Vale? It was like $8.75 a can or something like that. That's kind of the higher end of the spectrum. And the lower end's typically $6.50 for something like this, like a single IPA or a pale ale, like a 4 Point, something like that. You're looking around like $5.50, $6. So $6.50 a can. However, at the website, for shipping purposes, for picking up locally and everything, $20 4 packs, so $5 a can. So not too bad when it makes distro, I guess, an extra $1.50 a can. You kind of expect that, so not too bad, I guess, as a whole. And availability, it's Trillium, I have no idea. Go to their website. They say where they ship to. They don't ship to New York State, but we do see distro of their beers here. You might be on the list of states that they do ship to, and they have a lot of beers available for shipping purposes. So if you can get their stuff in your neck of the woods, that's cool. If not, be on the lookout. You never know. There's so many different breweries distributing now where they show up, and I'm like, how the hell, why are they here? And Trillium's probably going to be one of those breweries in the next 6 months to a year for a lot of you out there. We're like, wow, had no idea Trillium's now in our state. So huge thanks to Curtis for this one. Like I said, I'm not disappointed with this beer at all. I gave it a 4.2. That's a really high score. It's a tasty beer. I'm going to drink the rest of it. I do enjoy it. It's just when a nose of a beer is so substantial and kind of impactful as this nose was, and then you taste it and it's just like everything just got dialed down like 50%. You're like, man, why didn't that nose carry over? I couldn't tell you. Other than, again, I think the double dry hopping really does enhance the aromatics and doesn't do as much for the flavor. So it's like, wow, this smells amazing. You taste it, you're like, it's a little bit different. And it really is. I'll do one more sip here just to make sure. Good glass lacing, of course. Yeah, I mean, I really do appreciate the like freshly squeezed orange juice kind of vibe to this one. I do like the passion fruit. That's why I gave it a 4.2, but the nose was just so much better. So disappointing from that aspect, but not as a whole. So once again, huge thanks to Curtis for this beer. If you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about it. I think this is pretty well balanced too. That big dryness, mild bitterness. Again, this beer isn't sweet to begin with, so I do think it's pretty well balanced. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, oh, this is too sweet or too dry or anything. Maybe, but for me, nah. The balance of this one is actually going to help the drinkability of it because of the lack of flavor based on the aroma. So anyway, I'm going to shut this one down. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.